We are forever grateful to be among the living to see the last day in the month of January, and we are ushering ourselves into the month of love. Yes, that is the month of February. Good morning, I am Stella Elisha, and this is from the Dailies on ECWA TV Africa, and doing this alongside me is Tosi Owolabi. Tosi,
good morning, Stella.
How was the weekend?
Fine, how was yours?
And the cold?
Okay,
yeah, let's move on straight now to the papers, and I will be starting with the Daily Independent. And the first story I would like to take here: PDP elders worried over Aliu's alleged subservice to governors. With the rider, governors can't go anywhere with the hijack. Be patient with new NWC, Bode George pleads. The next story still from the Daily Independent. Anguish as motorists go through new Lagos roadworthiness certification, with the rider 27 inspection center service over 6 million cars. More centers coming before the end of the second quarter of 2022. This is coming from the government. And the big story here says fiscal indiscipline may worsen debt sustainability crisis. And other stories still from the Daily Independent. Analysts say Nigeria risks foreign capital flow reversal. And the next story here: bandits kill several burn houses in fresh Niger attacks. And I'd like to say little about the story. It's quite disheartening. The weekend was a very sad one for Nigerians, that we had some killings, not just in Niger but also in Kaduna, and it's very, very sad because we knew that just I think last 2 weeks the governor of Niger State said that they're having issues with, there were about like quite a number of deaths that they recorded just in January, from the 1st to the 17th of January. And then looking at this fresh attack again that took place in Shiro local government, it's very sad because I know that even though some of the residents there said that they blame the government because some of the securities that were assigned to stay there were withdrawn. And then I think this is not the right time the government should do that, but I think they can look into it and see what they can do to make sure that not just lives are protected but even properties, because lots of them there now are stranded, no homes, they are, you know, livestock and other things. So I think something needs to be done. And even the routes that we think that cars cannot go there, this is what the government needs to do. How can they have accessible routes so that immediately there is a call, the security agency can find themselves there, because most of the people attacking there are using the motorbike. So I think it's something the government of Niger State, not just Niger State, but even the entire Nigeria, the government, let's see what we can do to put our hands together so that we can curtail this.
Yes, so after Governor Bello Matawalle met with the president on issues of insecurity that is surrounding Niger State, we had where the president gave a go-ahead that they should launch some military troop that will look out to ways they can look out for safety in that particular state. But looking at ways that they've withdrawn those military troops in a time where they need those people, more important, this time that they need those people in such places because of this insecurity and how bandits tend to attack Niger State like more often. This is not the right time, just as I said, withdrawing those troops from these places. More troops need to be deployed in such communities, because now looking at over 24 people were rendered homeless, killed, because even trying to move those that were injured, you see that they were killed. Those that were trying to move those that were injured, rescue those that were injured, were also killed. So you can see that the bandits are not relenting on how they can attack all these people, how they can kill these people, and how they can cut away with their goods and even cut away with their foodstuff. So the government should not also relent. The military should not be withdrawn from all these places. We need more military in such places so that they can look out for security, safety of lives and property, because that should be the important thing for the government, to secure life and property, the safety of life and property. This should be held first. We should look at this before other things. So more security should be deployed in such places, and those troops that have been were withdrawn from this Niger State, we hope that they should be sent back to Niger State so that they can secure the property of those people and secure their life, because definitely now the people of Niger State, they are really in a sad mood, and also even in Kaduna State they are in a sad mood, and the governors of this different states have sent their condolence, but this condolence is not enough. We should look out for other ways we can secure those people.
Exactly, so that we can avoid further attack on other communities. The next story here, still from the Daily Independent. NDLA intercept 22 international passport hidden in the bag of Gary. Detail of that can be found on page 2. And the last story here, vandalization of Arik aircraft done by an insider. This is coming from the DG of NCAA. If you're interested in any of this news, just grab the newspaper of the Daily Independent, carry detail on that. Let's move to the next story too.
Which is the Blueprint newspaper. And Nigerian tech markets low on merger accusation, Flutterwave co-founder. And CBN goes after loan defaulters in new operational guidelines. And more details can be found on page 24 of the Blueprint newspaper. And still on the death of Hanifa, we are committed to seeking justice, coming from ex-NBA president. And presidency to PDP, attack on Buhari over aborted Zamfara visit, shameful. The rider says assures president will return to accomplish his mission, and says opposition hanging wants lies to live. And 5 suspects arrested over killings and robbery in Osun communities. The big story, how gunmen raided, killed 25 in Zango Kataf, Niger in fresh attacks. Scores still missing and 40 houses razed. El Rufai sad and condoles with victims' families. Bandits took advantage of troops' withdrawal, and this is coming from Shiroro Youth, and this can be found in page 6. Igbobi College have shown how visionary leadership can impact generation, coming from the Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo. And on 2022, I will challenge outcome of Ekiti APC primary in courts. This is from Bamidele. Nimasa pays 37.6 billion naira into Federation account, investigates 12 accidents in 2021. And sanction leaders undermining National Convention, Lukman tells APC. The last story, stakeholders at Deloitte Roundtable commend federal government on implementation of economic plans, with details in page 13. And that's all the story on the Blueprint newspaper.
Okay, moving on now to the Punch newspaper. The first story here, bank customers transfer 278 trillion naira via e-channels in 2021. This is from the NIBBS report. Next story here, federal government must justify fresh 3 trillion naira vote. Others for fuel subsidy. And this is coming from the Senate. Detail of that can be found on page 2. 24 gone down as killing rise in Kaduna and Niger. Refineries rehabilitation got 100 billion naira in 2021, says the NNPC. The big story from the Punch newspaper, presidency, APC in Delima over zoning, metro race open with the rider. APC considering best options for winning presidential poll. This is from the source. Parties free to pick presidential candidate from any zone, says the ACF. APC keeps INEC waiting on convention. Bauchi await peace panel. Other story still from the Punch newspaper, transport fares jumps by 283% amid raising fuel subsidy. This is coming from the MBS reports. And then other stories still from the paper. You are a champion. Come work with us, Lawan tells Akwa Ibom governor. Boyfriend fleeing after killing beheading girlfriend arrested in Ogun. And this is really a sad one. I think lots of kids are really going through lots of trauma right now, and I think it's something parents need to look into. And I think not just the parent, but there are other things that are responsible. I think as a nation we need to look into that. Ekiti APC primary didn't hold. We are challenge outcome. This is coming from Babi Didi. Another story still from this paper, 3 arrested as Osun vows clamp down on Elisha killings. Ogun Assembly alleges draft summons local government chairman. Detail of that can be found on page 43 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all from the Punch newspaper.
Moving to The Nation, post-primary crisis rocks APC, PDP in Ekiti. Decision on petitions today on Islam's Ayu and Fayoshe, and how CBN is battling rise in food prices by Emefiele. And GAC, we have not decided to replace Sanwo-Olu, with details in page 7. And IMF cautions government on 3.4 billion naira facility. IMF cautions government on $3.4 billion facility in Gigiwe's option on presidential bid. Tax returns. FIRS begins probe of big companies. The big story: governors lead opposition to reworked electoral bill. The rider says registration before primaries unworkable, consensus clauses in contention. Lobby begins to stop presidential assent to Buhari, get bill today. And downside of The Nation, 29 killed in Niger, Kaduna gunmen attack. And police arrest 5 over Ile-Ife, Ilesha unrest. Gunmen kill soldiers. Details can be found in page 4 of The Nation newspaper. And we have 2 picture stories on The Nation. Do well to visit The Nation to look out for stories that interest you. That's all, Celine.
Okay, moving on now to the Daily Sun newspaper. The first story here: the independent people of Biafra. Abia court mandate will aid Nnamdi Kanu release, says the lawyer, with the rider says judgment answers why pro-Biafra leader flee Nigeria. Detail of that can be found on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And the big story: bloody weekend in Niger, Kaduna, with the rider terrorists kill 7 top JTF commandants, corpse of resident bandit litter communities. Government confirm 11 dead, 30 houses burned in Zangu, Qatar. Gunmen kill soldier, injure 3 in Rivers. Other stories still from the Daily Sun newspaper. APC convention, February 26th, they threaten as CECPC malt match option with the rider. INEC issue party February 5th deadline for notice. Alleged contempt, finance minister orders face commuter trial today. Detail of that can be found on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And there is also a picture story still from the Daily Sun newspaper. If you're interested in any of the story, just get any of the Daily Sun newspaper and read detail on that. That's all.
And for the New Telegraph newspaper, on budget, federal government spent 14.23 trillion naira on personnel in 5 years, to go up 27% of total appropriation for 2022. And Binance clamped down on Nigerian crypto accounts. And here, learn to accept criticism. Rejection, Kaigama tells leaders, with the rider cautions cleric against political forecasting, with details in page 2. And there's a negative perception of Nigeria by foreign media. This is from the Polish envoy. Igbo president will settle IPOB's agitation. This is coming from Uhwabunwa. And Kanu, Ohaneze youth urge federal government to adopt Justice Anya proposal. Mieti Allah's endorsement, Tinubu has lost out. This is coming from the Middle Belt Forum. Fault cattle breeders attack on southern governors over grazing law. While the big story on Sage and Alobi, missing police arms threats to national security. 6 state of emergency on arms state periodic check. An implication if is their largest enemy, army within which can destroy Nigeria if coordinated. Federal government extension of fuel subsidy, huge blunder, coming from CJS. And it's a loss to government, citizen, CSO, private sector. NLC ought to have pressed further to address underlying issues. An Electoral Act opposition threats to override Buhari's veto. If you're interested in knowing the if, you can find it in page 8 of the New Telegraph newspaper. And on insecurity, more than 22 killed, 30 houses destroyed as terrorists sack southern Kaduna, Niger communities. Joint Security Task Force loses 11 member, shut down camps, and youths, where is our governor? This is a cry from the youths in such community. They are asking, where is their governor? And COVID-19 post-vaccination, menstrual changes short-lived. And this is a study that can be found in page 6. And that's all the news on the New Telegraph.
Yeah, Tosi, I'd like to just say a little about the big story here, the missing police armed threat to national security. I think we cannot overemphasize the need that they need to be auditing. I remember we said this last week when we were looking at the issue of insecurity and the reason why it took the government or the reps about 2 to 3 years for them to be able to, pass the bill. They need to check for this. I think it's really time that we take things serious. It's not just about it's a life. Every life matters. So I think we really need to look into this missing police arms and then looking at snitches here and there, because I think this is one of the reasons Niger community, I say possibly a snitch from the community tip the ISWAP people that attack, and that's why they were able to be open to attack. And also looking at issues like this, and not just Niger, not just Kaduna, even other communities are going through 1 or 2 issues, and even within the army, if we're having issues like this, then that means nobody is safe in Nigeria. So I think we really need to look into what we can do, and let's not just depend on the government or on the security, because they can't be everywhere. Whatever or whenever you just sense anything that is not going well, please report to the authorities and don't just sit quiet.
Yes, there is no smoke without a fire. And now we are having this issue of missing arms coming from the police armory, and now we have insecurity that is taking the high wave in different localities, in different communities. I know that all those bandits, all those ISWAP fighters, they don't just go there with bare hands to fight these people. They go there with sophisticated weapons. How do they get all those weapons, Sele? All these are things that we need to ask. And now you can see that the youths in Niger State and even the youths in Kaduna State are asking, where are their governors? Because it is time where they need their governors. Withdrawing the troops that are supposed to look out for security, look out for safety of those people in such communities is not just the answer. Rather, you should look out for ways we can fight this insecurity by putting hands together as a government and putting hands together with the security agencies that are deployed to such places. Even if those troops are supposed to be disbanded or to leave such places, as a governor, you're supposed to speak for your people because of the issue, the record we're having of insecurity, even in Niger State. From January, just January alone, we've had a large number of insecurity in such communities, and people, lives and properties are no longer safe. Why are the governors of the state? This is time for the governors to speak out for their people. If they can have more troops, because the soldiers, if you have more soldiers, definitely they can fight those people. But you have less soldiers, you have less military in such places, and later again, you are still just militaries that are supposed to look out for safety of those people are being disbanded again. Something needs to be done, because for people to cry out deaths of people, houses being burnt, it takes you a long period to build a house, and it just takes you a second for it to be destroyed. Now people are rendered homeless. Even their crops in their farms also are being destroyed. Lives people died in that process because they killed a whole lot of people. Over 24 people died in that process just overnight. Something needs to be done about it. The government needs to stand up for their people, speak up for their people. And now we talk about the importance of state policing. We can never overemphasize the importance of state policing. If only we can have state police in such places, have state policing even in the 36 states in this country, definitely it will be of help, because on the military alone cannot fight this, the police alone cannot fight it, but this state policing will be of help to these people. They can work hand in hand with the security agencies. Definitely this time when we need security to be at their topmost game in securing lives and properties. This is just the first month in this year, and we are recording burden issue of insecurity in other places. Something needs to be done about it very fast.
Very, very fast. And this is where we need to go on a break. And when we come back, our phone lines will be open. So do well to your contribution on what you feel concerning any of the stories on the paper. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, I am Lengs. I have collected my PVC. I'm ready to vote. Have you collected yours? If you haven't, please kindly do yourself a favor. Walk to the nearest collection center and collect your PVC. Your vote is your right. Your PVC is the key to unlock the brighter future and the Nigeria that you and I deserve, the Nigeria that we need. So go get yours now.
Arọ gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Ọlọ́run tó wà ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, gbogbo àwa ọmọ ìjọ Ọlọ́run gbogbo ẹ jẹ́ ká jáde láti lọ dìbò. Ìbò tí a fẹ́ dì láti yan àwọn olórí ní Nàìjíríà ní àkókò yìí ṣe pàtàkì púpọ̀ púpọ̀. Ó pẹ́ tí olúkálùkù wa ti ń forí wa pamọ́, a ò dìde, a ò jáde. Bíbélì sì pè wá ní iyọ̀ ayé àti ìmọ́lẹ̀ ayé. Àkókò yìí ṣe pàtàkì fún wa olúkúlùkù wa láti jáde. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jáde, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ yan àwọn ènìyàn tí a fẹ́. Ìwé káàdì ìdìbò wa ẹ jẹ́ ká gbìyànjú láti mú jáde ní ọjọ́ ìdìbò gbogbo. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ síbi tí wọ́n ti ń dìbò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò fún ẹni tí a fẹ́, kí ẹ sì gbìyànjú láti dúró pé ẹni tí ẹ dìbò fún náà ni ìbò yín náà ni wọ́n kà. Ó yẹ kí a jáde gẹ́gẹ́ bí iyọ̀ ayé, ó yẹ ká jáde gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìmọ́lẹ̀ ayé láti rí wípé òkùnkùn kò borí Nàìjíríà. Ẹ jẹ́ ká mọ̀ wípé ìbò ti ọdún yìí ṣe pàtàkì púpọ̀. Torí náà a rọ gbogbo onígbàgbọ́ bí a sì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, Ọlọ́run aláàánú yóò yàn fún wa, yóò sì tún Nàìjíríà sí. Ẹni tí àwọn olórí tí yóò gbé Nàìjíríà dé èbúté ògo èyí tí à ń fẹ́, Olúwa yóò yàn wọ́n fún wa lórúkọ Jésù. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, the program is from the Dailies, and we have been looking at various stories that have been making the top headlines. And before we went on break, I'm about to read the Al Jazeera newspaper. And the first story here: fallout of Ekiti primaries, uncertainty raging APC and PDP, with the writer: contestant want presidency to prevent ruling party from sinking in Ekiti. APC election committee secretary chairman's report differ. Fayoshi still a stumbling block. PDP constitute appeal panel. Other story still: Bauchi governor warns supporters against destroying opposition posters. Other story still from Al Jazeera. Here we have convention. APC Youth Forum support and Mercury for national chairman. Other stories: federal government hasn't received lifting of ban letter from the UAE. Youth will support Osibanjo for presidency, says Philip Shaibu. From politics, 2023, Arewa don't retain power, Ohaneze kicks. And other news: we never said ASU, Emma not recognize union. This is coming from HOS. Other stories still from that: Jazeera, CBN cuts bank charges with an ATM maintenance fee and others. And then still on that, Jazeera, there are other stories. If you're interested in any of the stories, just grab the paper and you can read detail on that.
And on Voice of Liberty, in Kaduna State, gunmen kill 11, set ablaze over 30 houses, and fresh attack in Zangon Kataf local government area. And travel ban Nigeria, UAE renews diplomatic tension over Emirates airline. 3.1 billion naira allegedly missing at Federal Finance Ministry. Buhari sued again. And Arewa groups demand identity of Gulak's killers. Tax IGP on ethical policing. And on 2023, APC chairmanship divides Northeast governor as the All Progressive Congress Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee sustains its denial on the zoning arrangement for its national offices ahead of its scheduled February National Convention. It has been revealed that individual ambition of certain governors and chieftains with eye on 2023 general elections. According to reports, 2 governors of the party from the Northeast Zone have been accused of smartling for the slot of vice president and are pushing for the zoning of national chairmanship of the party out of their political zones. And maritime security, concern over insecurity, foreign military action on Nigerian waters. Navy identifies crime-prone areas and assures of safety. Still on 2023, Afenifere dumps Southwest aspirant back Southeast, warns against gang up. And the last story on the Voice of Liberty, federal government pays $194 million for Port Harcourt refinery, plans additional $98 million and 17.2 billion naira. That's all the story on the Voice of Liberty.
Okay, moving on to this day. Remember, our phone lines are still open. You can call us and tell us what you feel about any of the stories making the headlines on our Nigerian newspaper. Now, coming from This Day newspaper, the first story, 95 days after launch, e-Naira wallet download near 700,000. Other stories still from This Day. Again, Nigeria loses 6.5 million barrels of oil to force majeure. Sabotage in December. If you're interested in the story, check page 6 of This Day newspaper. Other story, 2022, Nigerian women in tech break new grounds. I think it's a good thing that women are taking over too. Another story still from This Day, electoral bill pegs presidential campaign expenses at 5 billion naira. And we still have a story here still on This Day newspaper. So if you're interested in any of the story, just get This Day newspaper and you can read detail on that.
Moving to the Guardian newspaper, only 2.5 million motorists captured as insurers plan 7,500 naira for third party. With the rider, stakeholders agree to review 18 years after policy was pegged at 5,000 naira. Inflation jacks cost of vehicle repair, and this is coming from industry operators. Ohaneze warns of dangers if not succeed Buhari in 2023. Concerns as cyber criminals unleash SMS-based Android malware on Nigerians. And Sanu gives federal government February deadlines to settle minimum wage and IPPIS. Movement demands information on 3 trillion naira fuel subsidy. In fresh attacks, bandit kills dozen in Kaduna and Niger. That's all for the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, moving on now to the Vanguard newspaper. Suspended DCP Abba Kyari attend IGP Alkadi's son's wedding in Maiduguri. 2023, shun politicians play religious ethnic cards. This is coming from a Catholic church. Detail of that can be found on page 4. Why bandits are now classified as terrorists. You want to know why? You can check the Vanguard newspaper, and this is coming from Uzibanjo. The big story here, 2023. APC leaders split over Tinubu, with the rider Southeast may get presidential ticket. APC no longer a political party but election platform. Ex-PGF-DG laments. And we also have a picture story here of the oil revenue stagnant at 4 trillion naira, with the rider as theft, pipeline vandalism, others constrain growth. Caution of optimism dominates outlook for 2023. You can see the graph here so you can read and know all about that. Other story still from the 2023, we are not replacing Sanwo-Olu. This is coming from GAC. And here they arrest 3 trans-border traffickers with 48,000 tramadol tablets in Adamawa. This really is sad one. Our worries over 3 trillion naira FEC approval for petrol subsidy. This is coming from the NECA. Governor's poll. Bamidele vows to challenge Ekiti APC primary. PDP attack on Buhari over cancellation of Zamfara visit. Shameful, disgraceful. This is coming from the presidency. Gunmen killed 12 security men, 11 others in Kaduna, Niger, and Rivers. And detail of that can be found on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. And that's all from the Vanguard.
Moving to Nigerian Tribune, judiciary budget, NJC under pressure as lawyers raise concern over alleged lack of transparency. An alleged financial misappropriation, Ogun Assembly summons local government chairman and others. Aborted Zamfara trip, presidency attacks PDP, accuses it of mischief. And details can be found in page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. 19 killed, houses burnt in fresh attack in Kaduna and Niger communities. Niger government mobilizes air force against terrorists on a rampage in local governments. The big story on 2023, power must shift to South, Middle Belt Forum as Ohaneze cautions Atiku. Shegun Oni accuses Fayose NWC of sellout to APC. You're on your own. We know those who moved in and out of APC, coming from Fayose's aide. And in Ekiti State, I won't accept Oyebanji as APC governor candidate will seek redress in court, coming from Bamidele. And we have 2 picture stories on Nigerian Tribune. Do well to visit to look out for stories that interest you.
Okay, now moving on to the Nigerian News Direct. The first story, self-employment. Dangote Cement empowers 245 youths in host community. This is really good one. We hope others will take a lead from him. You will triumph over your detractors. This is coming from the Oba Oyetodu telling Oyetola. NCAA fingers insiders on Arik aircraft component theft. The big story here, Kaduna attack. Federal government vows to end insecurity with the riders as bandits burn 30 houses and kill 11. Dialogue with bandits has failed, kill them. This is coming from the Emir of Castina. Other stories still from the Nigerian News Direct. Maritime Safety, NIMASA increased conditional survey of flag registration by 43.6% in 2021. Federal government pays $194 million for Port Harcourt. Okay, we have a caller. Jonathan, good morning. Hello, are you there? Good morning. I think I lost that. Okay, please do hope we hope that you call us again. Next story still from the Nigerian News Direct. Federal government paid $194 million for Port Harcourt refinery, plans additional $98 million, 17.2 billion naira. Data privacy law critical to drive digital economy agenda. This is coming from Paitami. And that's all from the Nigerian News Direct. Do well to grab the paper and read detail of any of the stories.
And for Daily Trust newspaper, CBN reduces ATM interbank transfer charges. And in Ekiti governorship, anger over outcome of APC and PDP primaries. 281 Nigerian crypto account restricted over security concern. The big story, dozen killed in Niger, Katsina, Kaduna attack. Terrorists overrun Niger security base, kill 11 operatives. Bandits sack Zamfara village despite 7 million naira levy. And attacks giving us sleepless night, Katsina Emir tells Oshibanjo. There will be change soon. This is coming from the Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo. 20 storms before Atiku. How gunmen cut off my wrist. 25-year-old mechanic is testifying to that. And doctors to federal government pay our salaries, arrears and training fund. Zamfara trip, your claim mischievous. Presidency replies PDP. Those are all the
Okay.
stories on Daily
Thank you
Trust.
so much, Tosin. And I think just from your story here that the big story, if we cannot overemphasize it, I think if the terrorists have overruled the Niger security, I think this is a call for the government to say that how can we update the machineries that we have. If they are having sophisticated weapons, then we should have more than them, and if we know where they are, I think Nigerians would say possibly you should clear them. If we are finding it very difficult, come to talking terms with them, then I think something needs to be done. If you know their sponsors, let's expose them. If you know where they are, raid them down, and let's just have peace. This is the eve of the election, and I think this is not what Nigerians want, because this is like scaring them to even go to the polls come 2023. So I think the government can do better.
So we are not ready to expose all those people that are behind insecurity, because last year, 2021, we know when the United Arab Emirates released the names of 6 Nigerians who are masterminding insecurity, who are sponsoring Boko Haram. But what did we do about it? Rather, we swept it under the carpet. We did not expose those people, because before we can fight insecurity, we need to expose those who are sponsoring insecurity in our country. But as long as we sweep those names and we sweep those people under the carpet, then insecurity will still continue to strive in our country. But if we expose those people and we go after them, those who are sponsoring insecurity, definitely then we're looking out for ways we can curb insecurity, ways we can stop insecurity in our country. But if we keep on patting those people at their back, then insecurity will keep on rising in our country. Looking at weapons that those people have, even if as a country we keep on buying weapons, we are buying the weapons for who? For who to use when our weapons are no longer safe in the armory? Then when we keep on buying weapons, using the money of Nigerians to buy weapons, we are buying it to fund who? We are buying weapons for who to use? Because our securities are not using the weapon. They keep on complaining that they don't have enough weapons to fight. They don't have the sophisticated weapons compared to that of the ISWAP and compared to that of Boko Haram fighters. When you look at the sophisticated weapons those people are using, you can't compare it to the weapons our securities are using. And also the weapons we have as Nigerians, the weapons our security are provided with, is no longer safe, because now we have issues of missing weapons that they cannot missing, and it cannot be audited. Missing, we don't know where it got missing, who used those weapons, how did it get missing, we don't know up till date. So we really need to fish out those people who are masterminding insecurity, those people who are sponsoring insecurity. If we can go back to the names that UAE have written to us as a country on those that are sponsoring insecurity, if we can bring them out, expose them, not pat them on their back, then we are fighting, we're forging ahead on ways we can fight insecurity. But if we keep on sweeping those names under the carpet, then insecurity will not come to an end anytime soon.
Exactly, I totally agree with you, Tosi. So we can do better as a nation. Well, the last paper I'll be taking today, which is the Business Day newspaper, the first story here, which is big: how harsh visa requirements for fraud in Nigeria. If you want to know more on that, you can check the Business Day newspaper, page 29 for more. Sanwo-Olu to declare second ABC conference open with the rider as business leaders. Expert confirm participation. They'll be participating. Other stories here: MTN Nigeria grows full year profit by 45.5% to 298.7 billion naira. I think that's a great one from the MTN. Other stories still here: percentage of people with a desire to leave Nigeria. Unemployed, we have 38%. The youth, we have 39%. Secondary school education graduate, we have 39%. Urban resident, we have 41%. And post-secondary graduate, we have 45%. And really, you will not blame Nigerians when they really want to leave this country. Everybody's looking for a greener land. But that's not the solution. I believe we can come together and make Nigeria the land of our dreams. And the last story from the Business Day newspaper, 2023. Atiku dumps Obi, picks Wike as his running mate. If you want to know detail of that story, you can check page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. And that is all we can take for the program dailies. And if you have anything, to see for our viewers so that you can leave them with.
Yes, the only limit of your realization of today will be your doubt of tomorrow. So be optimistic that tomorrow will be great, and it starts from today. Be a change wherever you find yourself. Good morning.
Exactly, be the change that you want to see out there. And to our parents, this is just a word of advice. Whenever your words come home, make sure you check with them. Don't just celebrate their well, but also ask ask, how did they get to it? You know, the increase of ritualists is coming very, very high, and I think it's high time that we come together as a society and see that we cut it down. That's all we can take. I remain your host, Sarah Elisha Dasham, and my co-host has been Tosi Owolabi. Together we'll say, have a blessed day, and all of us in Equa TV are wishing you a blessed day ahead. Goodbye for now.
Echo International Choir Competition EICC 2022. Echo introduces first of its kind, the Echo International Choir Competition EICC 2022 by its prestigious TV station Echo Television Africa. Theme: that all may skillfully glorify God in songs. This competition is open to all interested choirs, Echo and non-Echo alike. Registration fee 5,000 naira only. Late registration 10,000 naira only. Registration opens 1st of March 2022. Late registration 1st of May to 15th of May 2022. First prize 500,000 naira cash. Second prize 250,000 naira cash. Third prize 150,000 naira cash. Venue of the competition: Echo International Conference Center, Jos. Date 27th and 28th of May 2022. To register